My name is Gabby, and I am an occupational therapy student at Midwestern University in Tamara Turner's Analysis 1 class. Our assignment was to create an occupation-based kit that can be used in clinics or rehab facilities based on an occupation that we enjoy. And for me, that occupation is traveling. I love to travel, and the first part of traveling, beyond planning your trip, would be packing your suitcase. The kit that I chose involves multiple avenues within the activities of daily living, or ADLs. The first one is functional mobility, just moving around to grab the items that you need when you're packing a suitcase, such as your clothes, your shoes, your toiletry bag, your medication, your chargers, and maybe some books that you want to take on the trip, or even your electronic devices. So the first step that I want to talk about is just obtaining a suitcase, picking one that really suits your needs best. I think that a rolly one is most people's go-to just because it has a lot of functional mobility. I think that a rolly one, just like this one, would be really great in a clinic because you can work on the client's fine motor skills or grip strength when they're picking up the suitcase, or even when they're unzipping the suitcase, that's the first step in the sequence. And then after that, you kind of want to just help the client work through and problem solve what kind of things that they would need on the trip. And honestly, the first thing that I like to think of is my clothes. And so I would pick my clothes based on the weather, what activities I'm going to be participating in, and then that just kind of helps me also choose like the amount of clothes I'm going to take. And something which is just a normal everyday part of people's lives is folding clothes. So you could work on folding the clothes as they go in the suitcase, or if that's just not what they're interested in, you can just roll up the clothes, which is something that I like to do just so the clothes don't get wrinkled. So you can work on rolling the clothes just like I did, and then placing them in the suitcase, which can also work on organizing your suitcase. And in there, I just put 2 t-shirts, shorts, some pajamas, and undergarments. And then once I put those in, I want to make sure that I grab my shoes and my socks. Shoes and socks. I like to put my socks in my shoes just so it doesn't take up as much room in the suitcase and I can pack more stuff because I overpack all the time. So those go in the suitcase. And then you kind of just got your clothes and your outerwear taken care of, which is really nice. After that, you kind of just want to work through with the client what else they need. So maybe you could start with the beginning of the day, and you want to think of like toiletry items, things that you're going to need when you're getting ready in the morning. In the toiletry bag, I included a toothbrush, some toothpaste, body wash, hand sanitizer, shampoo and conditioner, lotion, and floss. Just kind of things that I use every day that I want to make sure that I have on my trip so that I feel at ease. And so after that is packed, that will go in the suitcase. And then from there, you want to make sure that you talk about with your patient what they're going to need on a daily basis. And a lot of the people that we're going to be working with are on a bunch of different medications, and just being in a different place is something that they might not remember to take their medications, or they might forget to even pack them. And so just making sure that you have your medications in an easily labeled bag so that they can go in your suitcase. After that, we live in a technology world, and everyone uses technology, so we have to make sure we pack our chargers. So make sure you grab your charger, put it in your bag in an easily accessible place. Put your electronic devices in your bag. I might not necessarily put my phone in there, but if I had a Nintendo or a Nook or just an iPad or anything like that, a computer, I would put it in my bag. And then after that, just like you want to make sure that you have any other things that you might need. So on vacation, typically I like to read some books. So make sure you put your books in there. And then, let's see. right before zipping it up, you want to make sure that you have all your necessary travel documents. And so for me, I just like to make sure that I have a schedule of events of what's going on my trip. So this might ease someone who has anxiety. So make sure you have the schedule of events, what is going on at the events, maybe the location of the events, and things like that. And then you want to make sure you have directions for wherever you're going, especially if you're driving. If you're not, maybe just getting from your hotel or wherever you're staying to one of the places that you're going to be doing an activity. So making sure you have directions. And then someone who is traveling might just maybe on a plane for the first time or using public transportation like buses or trains. They might want to have a travel itinerary. These are really helpful because it gives you the place that you're coming from, obviously, what time it departs, kind of the number of the bus, train, plane, whatever it is, where you're going, what time you're supposed to get there, and it just like has information on where, if you're changing modality of transportation, you can put that on here as well, just so it gives you a step-by-step instructions of where you're exactly going. And so after I do that, I want to pack up my suitcase. So I got to zip it using that fine motor skill. As I finished up this presentation, I just wanted to go through some of the ways that you can use this kit in a clinic or at someone's home. Maybe if the person is having some weakness in their shoulder or arm and isn't able to use one of their arms, you could teach them how to fold with just one arm, one hand, and that it is possible to complete these daily activities without use of that arm. And it's a little bit tougher, but it is possible. You can fold it, and then you can roll it too if you want. And then also, what I kept hitting home with this video is that this activity is a great one for sequencing. On the outside of my kit, especially if this was their first time, I would include this sequence, and it just kind of shows all the steps that they need to complete in order to make sure that they've gotten all their items that they need for the trip, which will help them alleviate stress and anxiety. Another thing is, what's great about this kit is maybe you're not in their home and doing the activity with them. Maybe they are at the clinic. And so with this kit, you can pull it out and you can help them kind of go through the steps of their normal everyday life in the morning. Like they're getting up, they're going to the bathroom, then they are picking out their clothes, then they're using their toiletry items, and just basic stuff like that. This kit will be great to pull out and use to talk about things like that. And then when I talked about stress and anxiety, I was also referring to how people get anxious about travel. So just having that sequencing like we talked about beforehand, so they know where to go, what they're doing, like the directions that we talked about. Some adaptations that I thought about were, we chose this rolly suitcase because if someone was having some upper body weakness, maybe in their shoulders, their arms, their back, you wouldn't want to carry a duffel bag and create more stress and pain in their life. So having this rolly suitcase is really great because it's on the ground, you're not having to deal with the weight of it. And then also, we talked about how this activity earlier is really great for mobility. So if you are in their home, you can watch the patient and help the patient really maneuver about their house and walk around their house. They're active, they're doing something. If it's in the clinic, maybe you're creating a scavenger hunt and they're having to find the items that they're putting in the suitcase once they've gotten really used to it. Or maybe they get a prize every time they get the right item in the sequence and you put it in the suitcase, something like that. If you are in the clinic and maybe the person is in a wheelchair and you're just working on packing the suitcase and all the items are on the table, you want to make sure that the surface is something that they can pull up to, that they're not having to reach down or really reach up, that it's just the right height for them. And then with that, I also was trying to think of maybe, like I talked about with the folding the shirt, they don't have use of one of their arms or it's limited. I created this ribbon and I kind of used it as a pull on the zipper. And so we talked about how the kit was great for working on fine motor skills with the zipper, but maybe they're struggling with that a little bit. And so you can stick your arm through it and just pull it all the way around, and you're not having to get up and move it. And then that just unzips it for the person, and then they can kind of use their arm as leverage and get the suitcase over and open it. So I hope you really enjoyed my video on packing a suitcase and the occupation-based kit, and I'll see you later.